What's up, guys? This is Jay from COI. So, there are protests going on in Iran. Um, we are told that they are protesting because the Iranian government admitted guilt, shooting down the Ukrainian airliner that carried a majority of Iranians, some Ukrainians, and some Canadians. The protesters have got support from people like Donald Trump, who sent tweets showing support for them, and Justin Trudeau, who not only showed support for the protesters, also said that the government apologizing just wasn't enough. And I do find that kind of awkward, considering that in 1988, America shot down a Ukrainian plane killing 200, sorry, not Ukrainian, Iranian plane killing 290 people. And an oopsie pretty much got us by. It wasn't, oh my god, we have to do something about this. Um, Although, as troubling as that, Donald Trump's tweets are also fabulously misleading. Because he's talking about how the Iranian people are sick of the regime and that sick of wasted wealth and corruption. But the thing is the Iranian people know that they're handcuffed by American sanctions. They've known this for a while, ever since Donald Trump walked out of the nuclear treaty 2 years ago. So it's not like they are upset with their government because of that. And in fact, I'm sure there's some protesters who are upset that their government shot down a plane. There's more, though, upset about the fact that only a week ago, America killed one of their most iconic generals, somebody who they wanted to run their country, a living martyr. And the way they've known him is a warrior for them, somebody who has fought for them and has killed terrorists, a lot of terrorists. And America killed him. And what did the Iranian government do? The Iranian government responded by playing patty cake with some empty bases in Iraq and then promptly shot down a plane with 80 of their own citizens in it. And that is why they're protesting. But that's not what we hear. We're hearing that the Iranians are angry at their government and the the fact that they shot down this plane, and that's the end of the story. And this is incredibly problematic for me because of the fact that it's sort of lining up to be something bigger than that. We're framing the protesters as victims, and they're living in a dictator country, and they are um, massively abused by their own country, and we need to go in and save them. And in fact, it's funny because Donald Trump, he kind of overplays the hand a little bit. Trudeau, CNN, Fox News, they're all kind of pushing they're just framing it up, just setting up a nice little narrative, a nice little base that the rest of us will go, maybe we should do something about Iran. As we see the humanity of the protesters and how angry they are. And we're hearing the same thing. They're angry because they killed innocent people. And yeah, they are. They are angry that they killed innocent people, but not for that. But then here comes Trump, and he just starts throwing the R word around. It's regime. Or the corrupt regime. Like, I know I talked about there being a war before, and I don't. I also, though, was one of the few who said that there was a small light, an opportunity for peace, and I hoped that they would have taken it. And it seemed like that they did. But this is incredibly problematic. As where it seems like there are multiple people converging on this issue to push towards, oh, we just need to free the people. And the thing we have to remember from the outside, or some of us bleeding heart liberals, is that protests happen all around the globe. And many protests are happening because of income inequality. I talked about that about a month ago. It's not just Iran, it's everywhere. In fact, it's here. If we had a big brother country, like let's just say Canada had a whole bunch of military power and had control over our money, and they looked at, let's say, Occupy Wall Street, or just the mini protests we had, the Women's March not long ago. And what if they framed that as, look at the people, they're not being heard. We need to free them by, well, putting in our own regime that'll listen to those people. Now, after we put in the regime, we're going to forget what those people said and ultimately go screw yourselves. We don't care. We want your resources. You know, kind of like we did with Iraq. Except for that didn't work either, did it? Because it never works. But I just see this adding up to it. It doesn't make sense. It's fair to cover it and to say the protesters are angry because their government didn't respond um, equally. They didn't attack an American general. They didn't actually punch back, and in fact, it seems like some of the protesters that I've heard from are saying, "Look, we don't want a government controlled by America," and it already seems like this government is. And again, if you go through what I was just saying, they killed one of their heroes. The government responds by shooting an empty base, then shooting an airliner with their own people in it, all the while basically waving a white flag and saying, please don't escalate this. Please don't escalate this. They look really weak. And the Iranian people, they want some solace in the fact that one of their heroes was taken from them. They're still mourning over that. But none of that's being talked about. It's just the Iranian people are upset at their government because of corruption and because of the fact that they took credit for shooting down a plane. It just seems very odd. Now, granted, when we shot down the Iranian plane in 1988, there was quite a big protest because we killed 290 innocent people. Oh, wait, no, there wasn't. We didn't really hear about it, nor did we care. Uh, but no, I just feel like this is a different situation. We're being told one thing, we're seeing a lot of pieces go one way. And it's even drawing in the liberals and the bleeding hearts by saying, look at these people, they're so downtrodden and their government is oppressing them. And stopping it there, not saying anything more. And Justin Trudeau is saying killing 60 people, innocent people, is unforgivable, and a sorry doesn't cover it. Which, by the way, he's right in a lot of ways. I don't want to say he's not right, but he's right. Like, that sentiment is right in every situation. But for some reason, this one. So we already have the guys on the right wing who are really excited about this. I actually just saw something called Lunk TV where a guy was talking about how excited he is for military actions. It's the left wing and the independents, and now they're kind of trying to push them. Look, and they know they can get the independents and the libertarians by saying, look at the government, because they're triggered easily by what government does. And the liberals are getting them by saying, look at these poor people. And it's all kind of pushing like, hey, we're not going to say it. Why don't you say it? Why don't we say we need to do something about the Iranian protesters? You know, like we did with Hong Kong. But nobody's telling the real story. Or I shouldn't say the real story. No one's telling the full story. And that a lot of them are angry at their government, sure. But they're pissed at us. and I don't know how much um, liberating them is going to help. So, anyway, I just thought I would bring that out. I'd love to hear anyone's comments or what your guys' thoughts are on the whole situation. Maybe you know for a fact that I'm wrong. Maybe you're in Iran and you're like, no, no. Look, the people you talk to, they're just a small section. We're really pissed off about this airliner thing. Super, super pissed off. That's all we care about. Oh, and by the way, yes, the corruption and all of that, we don't recognize the sanctions. We don't recognize any of that. We want America to topple our country. Maybe that's it. I don't know. But tell me if I'm wrong. Anyway, thank you guys so much. You have a great weekend.